Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, what I want to pick about today is something that I've been learning about. I've been learning this recently, hugely. So, little story time. Story time with Cody. When I was in youth group at about grade 11 or grade 10, my youth pastor, he told me this when I told him I wanted to be pastor when I was older. He told me this. Preaching is more than just the audience and preaching to a crowd, like the actual preaching part, right? It's more than just the crowd. It's about teaching yourself what you're teaching people also. And what he meant by that was that when we preach, we need to be aware that what we're saying, we also need to learn for ourselves. What we're saying, we also need to either be actively learning or have learned, and we're preaching to other people, passing that knowledge down. And that really impacted me. So I have to make a video nowadays. It's about something I learned about recently, or I am learning, or I have learned about in the past. I'm passing on, right? And that knowledge just kind of stick with me since then. And if I preach to someone either in real life or on YouTube, it's always something that I'm learning or recently learned. So this one is going to be I'm actively learning. I'm actively growing in this category, but I thought I should share it with you guys today too. Recently, I've been having a huge struggle with faith. Not like my faith in God, but just like living out faith, like living out the principle of faith is Hebrews, I believe, says, where faith is evidence of the unseen thing, and it's the trusting an unseen thing, right? I misphrased that, but I know it's something like that. But so what, like this action on faith, I've been learning recently, where I've been so full of worry, fear, anxiety about my future, about what I'm going to do with like job wise, and about finding a job, and about my careers and everything in the future. I've been so worried about this stuff. I just got through high school, and I'm now searching for a job and stuff. So like that's been hard. Like everyone says it is. It really is hard, especially living in this situation. I've been so worried about it, and I've been so anxious about finding a job and about finding a career and knowing what I need to do, that faith in that has been lacking. You know how like fear and anxiety are opposites of faith and hope? Yeah, I've been so full of anxiety, I haven't really been faithful, and I haven't really had faith in God for that. So what this week, what he's taught me this week is that faith, even small mustard seed, can go a long way. Something in my eye, sorry. Sorry about that. But faith as small as a mustard seed can go a long way. That God does provide. God does work in our lives. And also what Matthew's chapter 5 says is that like it's the part about not worrying about things. You know how like if the sparrows are fed food, why worry about what you are going to eat, because your Father in heaven gives the sparrows their food. The whole chapter about about clothes and worries, anxiety, and about food, and not worrying about these things, because God will provide. Because God provides for the plants and for the animals. He will certainly provide for you. And that whole idea of that's what we need to act on. We need to act on that we know that God provides for us. Even if it's not right now, in this very moment, he's never late or never early. He's exactly when he needs to be. And that really this week, I would need to learn that, because I've been worried about what jobs, food, groceries, bills, and all that sort of stuff that life comes and goes, right? I've been worried about all that stuff. And I've been needing to learn that I don't need to worry. I don't need to have anxiety over this, because I know God will provide. And that if it's outside of my hands, it's in God's hands. I only can act on what I can act on, and God does the rest. And right now, it's basically all Him. I can't do anything other than what I've already done. So it's up to God, and He will provide. He will use that, and He will do whatever He needs to do. God will be God, and God will do miracles or whatever He needs to do. And I leave it into God's hands. And exactly what the Bible also says, that, you give to God all of your anxieties and worries. And part of that is that we need to give it to Him. We need to actually leave it at His feet. And we don't need attention. We don't need to, again, once we worry, we say, okay, God, take your worry. Take my worry away. And then and often what we do is that we say, yeah, here you go, God, here's your worry. But I'm still going to have a small section of the worry. I'm still going to worry about it, even though I've given you the worry, which is not actually giving God the worry, which is not actually giving God your worry back, right? That's just saying it because you want to give it away, but you can't seem to give Him your actual anxieties and worries, because you're still going to worry about it. And that's the part that we oftentimes don't know how to resolve that, because how do we give God our worries? It's just like we need to give them worries by just letting go of that issue, saying, God, it's out of my hands, it's in your hands now. I don't know what you're going to do with it. I don't know how you're going to figure this out, but I know God can do it, and He will do it, because He's the God who provides and loves for His children. And that's what I've been learning this week, is that's what real faith is knowing who God is, knowing His character, and trusting that He will do what He needs to do, and He will provide for you and everything, because He will. And knowing that and trusting that is what faith is, in a sense. Is one element of faith that I've been really learning about this week, and this whole month, and this whole summer, actually, since I graduated. This is something I've been slowly learning more and more and more. But this week especially, it's been more difficult than others, with a lot of life. Life gets hard, and that's what I've been learning about. and what faith how faith works in all that. And also Mark chapter, I forget what chapter it was again, but the one chapter where it talks about how the father of the demon-possessed man comes to the disciples, and they can't release the demon, but Jesus Christ can, and He says, Jesus, if possible, can you help my son? And God's like, if I can, believe, and it will happen. And the man's like, I do believe, help my unbelief. And that whole story really impacted me also in all this, because it's about, this man doubted, and he says, I do believe, help my unbelief. That's exactly what I've been feeling, where I do believe that God can do it, that God can work, and that He will provide, but I'm still doubting, I'm still fearful, I'm still having anxiety. So I keep praying, God, I do believe, but help my unbelief. Exactly what this man does. And with God, it is possible. With man, it's not. And that's what I need to know, and I need to act personally on that. And that's something that's hard to act on, because humans are going to have stress. Humans are going to have anxiety. Humans are going to worry about things. But we shouldn't, because we have a Father in heaven who loves us, who does provide, and gives us everything we need. And all of that's what I'm learning this week. And it's hard, but we got to know that for a fact, that God does love us, that God is a God who provides, that He is the God of the impossible, that He created the heavens and the earth. He can do anything that He wills. And He loves us. And the Bible also says that He works all things out for the good of those who love Him. And that's us. As His sheep, He loves us. He's the good shepherd. And you also, if you're a Christian, you're one of us and one of the flock, he loves you too and he provides for you too. And I hope you take this knowledge that I've shared for you and take it personally and act on it. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know this, acting on this is hard, but it's what's right, and it's what gives you that peace that I have felt more often recently. Maybe not 100% all the time, but definitely been working on that faith element. But again, it's all God. It's like, I do believe, but help my unbelief. Kind of help me to stop doubting. Help me to stop feeling this way. And we got to give that to God and do what we can do. But the rest is up to God. So go and lay all your worries at God's feet, and He will help you. He will help you. Seek and you will find. Ask and you will be and you will receive. So go do that. Go be a bold Christian for the kingdom. And God loves you, and I love you too. Have a good night.